right. Thank you, Sandy. So today we have our Parks and Rec team here to talk about what they do and who they are, probably not in that order. And we have a strong contingent, but I'm going to let our Parks and Recreation Director, Rocky, drive and introduce his team. We'll go through the full presentation like usual, and then at the end, we will open it up for Q&A with the whole team. So thank you, everyone. Strong showing from Parks and Rec per usual. So happy to have you all join us today. And take it away, Rocky. Thank you.
Thank you, Sabrina. Welcome, everyone. It's my pleasure here to introduce my team. We're going to scatter it throughout just to make sure there's plenty of time at the end for questions. So I'm going to try to do the Zoom thing and probably mess up technology here to show my slideshow. So if I lose you, I do apologize. So let's see if it works. All right. Can everyone see the fills the screen? All right, well then, great. Welcome to class. Here's the basic stuff, of course. Make sure you have your video on, check. Share and chat your name and neighborhood and any questions you may have. Turn your mic off so we don't get any feedback. And if you have technical difficulties, there's that phone number, 541-552-2103. All right, we're Parks and Recreation. We're here on the 7th. It's a beautiful day outside, so we'll make this as quick as possible, allow you to get out there to that sunshine. So our objectives today is really just to let you to get to know our teams, see what we do, have you ask some really good questions, and hopefully have some fun. So starting off with how the city's run, of course, we've got our elected officials, our city councilors. We've got our city manager who implements the policies and city staff. And then there's parks over here, and we're part of the city, but we do have another nuance that you guys all know better probably than I, and that is we have another set of elected officials who set the policies for our Parks and Recreation Department, and they hired me to kind of implement those policies along with the other city staff out there. And I have a team now. We're a village, a very large village, of course, but I couldn't do it without having a great team. And you're very lucky in having a management team like this in parks to help implement our park and recreation team. So we have Rachel Dials. You will be introduced to her later today. She's our deputy director and oversees our recreation and environmental education side of the house and everything else. You know, she's the easy button that we all go to help do everything. We have Superintendent Natalie Metler, who is in our senior services program. And he's not here today, but in spirit, and a lot of his staff is here to fill the gap, is Kevin Caldwell, who is our superintendent for our parks and operations side of the team. So we break off into little teams and to work on park operations, senior services, and recreation programming. As you can see, we've got lots of bodies, about 34, 35 total to do this work across our 811 acres and 19 developed parks. And each one of these teams will have a little opportunity later to learn more about each of them, but just kind of show the gestalt of our program. What we do is we provide those community spaces, outdoor and indoor, for everyone to recreate and get together. We engage the community in learning and staying active. We connect the community to the people and the place. So really we feel like we're the front porch for the community. Come out, introduce, say hi, have fun. And ultimately, really what we do is we're in the memory business. So we create memories. You come to our places, you come to our programs, and you leave with a smile and a memory and that experience to pass on and tell others about. How we're funded is primarily through general fund. So that's our biggest source of fund. We also have system development charges when new houses are built, food and beverage tax, and grants and other funding through donations, et cetera. Those other funds primarily are focused on us developing our system or doing major maintenance to our existing assets. And that general fund does primarily all of our operation and maintenance. So, okay, that's how we're funded. But how do we allocate those funds? Well, most of that money is to maintaining our parks. That's job one, is making sure we're taking care of what we have. And then we want to make sure that we are providing those programming services, so everyone could come out and have fun and engage in our properties. And if we say, well, okay, that's how you allocate it. Well, where's it spent really, Rocky? Well, it's primarily spent on people to do the work. Without the people there to run the programs, run the mowers, we don't have the special open spaces that we have. We then try to provide those personnel with the materials and supplies to do the work. And we have a large system, and we're always trying to continue to make sure that those spaces are safe and enjoyable through projects, primarily capital projects and preventive maintenance work. Engaging with us can be done several ways. We have office hours either at the Grove or the Nature Center. So we're at the Grove 3 days a week and the Nature Center twice. Of course, always on the website or our phone number, can reach our staff. Email's always a good source. Of course, you can always engage with us through our recreation guide that comes out quarterly. The next one's coming out real soon, another month or so. And then, of course, we have our Parks Commission meetings that we have study sessions on the first Wednesday and regular business meetings on the second Wednesday of every month. I should say we only have 11 study sessions because in December we don't have that extra meeting. And I'll start off with, before I switch it over to staff here, is on the administration team, we have three paid employees and our chief morale officer, Maple. And so that's Nancy Merrow, who's our executive assistant, Brandon Terry, who's our senior administrative analyst, and myself. And what do we do? So at the administration level, we're supporting our Parks and Recreation Commission. We're paying the bills, making sure we're meeting all those financial requirements, and we're planning the work. So we're trying to get out there and put things in order. To really all that combined is we're trying to make sure that our team can make the magic happen, to where when you come to our properties or come to our programs, it's seamless, it's transparent, and you're just there to have fun. So with that, I'm going to switch it over to Deputy Director Dials to talk about the recreation programming.
Well, thank you, Rocky, and thanks everyone from OLLI for being here today. This is exciting and fun to do. I always look forward to this. Well, my name is Rachel Dials, and I'm the Deputy Director for Parks and Recreation. And while I do oversee the Recreation Division, I feel like my job is to kind of have my hand in a lot of different things, including projects and parks. And so I have been, this is me, this picture of me I was about 10 years younger then, but I have a twin sister named Regan, who also works for the city in the planning department. This is our team here. This is our team of awesome recreation and environmental education people. We've got Lonnie Flora, who's our recreation manager, who oversees all of our programming and operations of the ice rink and the pool. We have Suleiman Shelton, who you'll actually hear from in a little bit. He is our volunteer and event manager. And we have Noel, who is our park tech in the Japanese garden. That's just a recently added position within the last few years, and Noel's doing a great job in that position. On the rec side, we've got Amber Schroy, who is our admin assistant, who does a lot of our marketing and promotions and customer interactions and services at the front desk, both at the Nature Center and at the Grove. And then we have Jenna Guayo, who is our environmental education coordinator, who works out of the Nature Center, who is currently coordinating most of our programs and services at the Nature Center. We do have a position right now that is open within the rec division that we're in the process of filling. It's our environmental education manager, and we're very excited about that. And that position should be filled hopefully by December. So that's our team of people who help keep things running within our department. Rocky, you can go to the next slide. So what do we do in recreation? We connect and engage through our programs. Not only do we have our office hours at the Grove and the Nature Center, we're open for visitors during those times, and we have maps available, and you can register for recreation programs on site. You can ask questions about, our parks and our services. Our recreation division provides adults, older adults, adapted and youth program opportunities in anything you can want to do. Foreign language, art, fitness, dance, pickleball, lacrosse, tennis. We do have both pickleball and tennis. Our programs are held all over our park system. So we have facilities at the Grove and the Senior Center. We have outdoor facilities. We have lots of programs that happen within our park system itself. We also are, if you have driven down Winburn Way recently this week, the ice rink, the Ashland Rotary Centennial Ice Rink is going up in Lithia right now. Our staff, that would be Lonnie, our recreation manager, we plan and manage the entire operations of that facility, including all of the programming that happens on site. So hockey, ice skating, we hire and train staff as well. We do, and we rely on our parks team to manage the kind of setup and tear down of the ice rink itself. And maintain the ice. So we do all of that. The facility itself is going to be opening the weekend before Thanksgiving. So we're gearing up now. Last year at the ice rink, we had over 14,000, almost 15,000 people that visited the ice rink in the 24 season. The other thing we do in recreation is we manage a outdoor seasonal 25-yard pool, the Daniel Meyer pool that's located in Hunter Park. That's open to the public from mid-June through mid-September, and we employ right around 16 to 18 lifeguards, swim instructors, and aquatic fitness instructors. We have lap swim, swim lessons, adapted aquatics, water fitness, water polo, and open swim. So, bringing your, your kids, your grandkids, your neighbors. It's a really nice, small, fun facility to visit. During the off season, if you didn't know, we do actually lease out the pool to various special interest groups. So like Ashland High School swim team, if you didn't know this, they actually swim outdoors in the winter at Daniel Meyer. So if it's raining or snowing, you'll probably see them out there with some steam coming off the water. So yes, we do have swimming in the winter. The pool itself, this season that we just finished up, we saw just over 10,000 visitors to the pool. The other thing we do in recreation is we provide community spaces, both indoor and outdoor. We manage facility reservations for indoor and outdoor facilities around the system. Right now, it's mostly outdoor. During the spring and summer season, you can reserve parks throughout the system. There's various picnic areas within Lithia that you can reserve. You can do that over the phone or in person at the Grove. We also manage ball field reservations at both Hunter Park and North Mountain Park. And we have various groups that use those facilities. So like Ashland Soccer Club, the Ashland Little League. We have high school teams that utilize those facilities year round. And our park staff does an excellent job of managing and maintaining those. Also in the wintertime, one of the things that's very requested weekly and daily almost is the fire pit, one of the fire pits in Lithia Park. So we manage the reservations for that fire pit as well. One thing that you may not know is that our department oversees the contracts for restaurant seating on the Kaye. So when you see the restaurants that have seating outdoors on the Kaye on the creek, that is our department that oversees those contracts and reservations for that site. Not only are there restaurants on the Kaye, there's also the Lithia Artisans Market. We manage that contract as well. And Lithia Artisans Market has been around for probably since the 80s, since before we redid the Kaye. And They not only use the Kaya Guanajuato, they also use areas in the front of the park and around the planning, community development building as well. The other thing we do in recreation is we connect through environmental education. Our current on-staff coordinator, Jenna Guayo, had just finished up a series of on-site service learning with Salmon Watch, where we had hundreds of kids on site at North Mountain Park to learn about the creek and learn about salmon. So we are really looking forward to being able to engage other partnerships with environmental education partnerships, not only at North Mountain Park, but also within our park system. And the other thing we do in environmental education is we provide oversight of community gardens. So we have 4 community gardens in Ashland. We have our biggest one, which is Ashland Creek Park. And then we have 3 smaller sites at Clay Street Park, Scenic Park, and Garden Way Park. The Nature Center and our environmental education program hosts 2 free public events every year. We have Bird Day that happens in May, and we have the Bear Creek Salmon Festival that happens in October. And the Bear Creek Salmon Festival just happened about a few weeks ago. We had over 1,000 people at that event. It was a wonderful community event with lots of partnerships. It took a hiatus for a few years, but it was back really strong this year. And that is something that we couldn't do without our wonderful volunteers that we have. So one of the things that we do in recreation is that helps keep, that increases our resources is we seek out partnerships and alliances with organizations that benefit our community. Groups like the Rogue World Music Festival, AARP, OLLI, your group right here, the YMCA, SOU, Science Works, Mount Ashland, Jackson County Library. All these groups help us maintain the services that we can provide to you. And it helps increase our resources and sometimes increases our revenue and decreases our expenditures by being able to work with partners. We also provide seasonal job opportunities that engage our youth and our adults. We offer opportunities, whether it's your first job or your latest job. Our seasonal jobs at the ice rink and the pool, and even in parks. Those that work at our facilities, such as the ice rink and the pool, are the faces of our organization. We look at ourselves as their role models, and it's their first job, and we don't take that lightly. I remember when I started in Parks and Recreation when I was 15, I remember every single one of my supervisors that made a difference, an impact on me. And we want to do the same thing for the people that are working for Parks and Recreation. The last thing I want to say is we provide volunteer opportunities to connect the community to the public places. We have a really strong volunteer program that supports our integrated pest management policy, or IPM, and we manage screening and placement and recognition of all of our volunteers utilized through the system. I want to introduce our volunteer and event manager, Suleiman Shelton, who is going to talk a little bit more about the Volunteer in Parks program.
Thanks, Rachel. Everybody hear me okay? Great. So yeah, my name's Suleiman Shelton. I'm the volunteer and special event manager. I've been in this position for 5 years, and before that I was actually a seasonal down at North Mountain Park in the environmental education program. And I grew up in Ashland, so this community is near and dear to my heart. Went to elementary school through high school here, and I've been back about 7 years and working in parks and absolutely loving it. And I love working with volunteers because it's a very forward thinking group, very engaged group. And I really take a lot of pride in the fact that Ashland is a super engaged community, and compared to other Parks and Rec departments, other cities of our size, this is a very engaged community with a lot of people that turn up to support our city and our programs. So I'm going to talk a little bit about that over the next few minutes. And then I'm also going to detail a little bit about special events, which is the other part of my role. So again, volunteer and special event coordinator or manager. I'm going to go into both of those things. So volunteers have always been really critical to Parks and Rec, but it wasn't until 2011 that the department actually got a volunteer coordinator for the first time, which really enabled us to make full use of the incredible gift and resource that volunteers are to our department. Rachel mentioned the IPM policy a little bit. Volunteers help in all our divisions, senior services, recreation, parks. But on the park side, part of the reason that a volunteer coordinator was hired in the first place was that when parks, the commission made the decision to stop using synthetic pesticides and herbicides in our parks, you can imagine that requires a lot more hands on the ground to help manage our parks. So that's part of the reason that position was implemented. And I'm going to go over kind of some of those programs and how we help parks in that regard. So numbers don't tell, all the story or the impact, of course, when it comes to volunteers, but I did want to just show some numbers from our previous year, 2023. We had over 12,000 volunteer hours given to our parks and recreation programs. And you can imagine COVID made a pretty substantial impact on everything in our society, but volunteer program was a big part of that. Most of our volunteer programs shut down in 2020, and we've been rebuilding since. So 12,000 hours in 2023. Again, volunteers are back in full force. Nearly 900 individual volunteers came out to support parks in 2023. And those 900, they're made up of different kinds of volunteers. So some of those people, some of those 900, are individuals that came out maybe once. Maybe you're a student as part of a class coming out to take part in our service learning, and you help us remove blackberry as part of an environmental education program. Or maybe you're coming out every single week and you give maybe 100, 200 hours every year to Parks and Recreation as a volunteer instructor with us, as a guided or a tour guide in our Lithia Park walk program. Maybe you come out and help us with our senior computer tutor. Maybe you're a Japanese garden docent. Maybe you're a community gardener at North Mountain Park. So volunteers look a lot of different ways, but 100 to 200 of those 900 volunteers, those are people that are coming out, very regularly. So it's a really impressive number. Our community is really engaged with our programs, and they wouldn't be possible without them. Another way that those 900 fit in is with our community events. I'm going to talk more about those later, but many of our community events, we talked about the Bear Creek Salmon Festival, for example. Those events would not be possible without volunteers. We usually use 40 to 50 volunteers for the Salmon Festival every single year. And, they're doing things like running tables and setting up and parking management and everything to make those events seamless and possible. So we rely heavily on our volunteers, in all facets of our divisions. Rocky, you can skip ahead here to one program I wanted to talk about, which is our Adopt a Park program. Now, this is the program that really took hold when the IPM policy in parks was implemented. And it's a relationship building program with local organizations and Ashland Parks. And so we have faith organizations, neighborhood groups, HOAs, schools, local businesses. 18 of our parks have been adopted by one of those groups. And we have 22 local groups total who have adopted a park. Now you might say, well, those numbers don't add up, but that's because some of our parks, Lithia Park, for example, we have 3 groups that have adopted Lithia Park, different sections of the park, because there's just so much to do. A park like Clay Street Park, for example, maybe one group is enough to help us offset some of that work and help us take care of that park. But 3 groups coming out a couple times a year to Lithia Park, and we still have, lots of need. So every park looks different. Every relationship with one of those adopting groups looks different. But that program, that Adoptive Park program, is a really critical part of how we keep our parks looking beautiful and healthy. In 2023, we had 34 work days, community park cleanups, just as part of that program. And we have park work days every single week in some form, but just as part of that Adopt a Park program, which is a program that I run, 34 work days in our park. So just a tremendous lift by our community to help us take care of our parks. Skipping to the next slide, we have the fun part, which is ways to volunteer, ways to engage with us. Now, I'm not going to go through all of the programs. We have so many wonderful programs, and you can find more on our website, but I did want to detail some that really actually have a need now and are a lot of fun, and that you can get engaged with at any time. And the first one is community events. Now, I mentioned the Bear Creek Salmon Festival. I'll talk more about events here in a slide or two, but we also have the Rogue Valley Bike Swap. We have the Rogue World Music Festival. And these are events where volunteers play a really critical role, as I already explained. And it's a pretty low commitment way to volunteer. So if you're just looking to do something a couple times a year, you're not sure what your schedule is, maybe you only have availability on the weekends, this is a really nice way to do that. You can get on an email list, and then you can see when the event is coming up. About 6 weeks in advance, I usually let folks know. And you can say, yeah, Suleiman, I want to help with the Salmon Festival this year. Put me down for, helping all day, doing the really difficult stuff, and I'll be very thankful. So that's one way you can engage. Our wonderful, beautifully renovated Ashland Japanese Garden is another really popular way. We have 2 really key ways to engage with the Japanese Garden. You can help us with maintenance. There's always weeds to pull. There's always leaves to pick up. There's always detail work to keep that garden looking as beautiful as possible. And there's also the docent program. We have about 35 volunteers who are there weekly. And if you've been to the Japanese Garden, you've probably run into one of those docents. They're there about 9 to 5 every single day. And we want them there to engage with the public, answer questions, explain the history of that site. So that's another way you can engage. One that's really near and dear to my heart is the Lithia Park Walk program. I don't know if any of you have participated in that program, but since 1989, that program's been running, and we've had over 23,000 people take part in one of those guided walks at Lithia Park, learning about the flora, the fauna, the history. It's an absolutely amazing program that was started by a gentleman named Tom Foster, again, back 1989. And he's just a treasure trove of knowledge, and we are looking for folks to help lead those walks. So usually those run May through September, and usually guides take a walk or 2 a month, so not a huge lift. And next year, most likely every Saturday at 10 a.m. you can take part in one of those walks, even if you're not a volunteer. I encourage you to go and participate. It's a lot of fun. You'll learn something new, I'm sure. The North Mountain Park Nature Center is a really great place to get involved and volunteer, not only with events like the Salmon Festival, but we have 2 weekly drop-in opportunities there to get your hands dirty. Every Wednesday, spring through fall, you can go and take part in the beautiful demonstration gardens that are down there. And every Thursday morning, you can go and help us take care of that park. Pull blackberry, plant native plants, chip our trails. We do need help down there with all of that great stuff. And then, as Rachel Dials mentioned, we are in the process of bringing on environmental education manager, but we were able to run service learning programs down there where school groups would come down and take part in some environmental education and then give back through service. So if you love working with kids, if you like environmental education, we are looking for instructors for those programs. And that's another great way to volunteer down there. And then there's the Senior Center, which is another fantastic place to volunteer. We use volunteer instructors for our programs. You can help with events. We have another wonderful partnership where we work with Food and Friends, serving hot meals, delivering hot meals, and you can get involved with those programs there. Natalie Metler is going to go into more detail about senior services, but always looking for volunteers, and it's a great place, wonderful community, and doing great work there. So you can find it if you want to learn more about volunteering or interested in volunteering. I did put the link there, ashlandoregon.gov/volunteer. And then I'm also going to put my my contact info in the chat, and so you can take my email and message me later. So those are some great ways to get involved. And now I'm going to go a little bit into park events. So shifting gears a little bit. Again, a lot of these events do require volunteers, could not do it without volunteers. But I wanted to go into kind of this part of my job and the ways that we hold public events in parks. So I broke it up into two types of events. Both I have my hand in, but we have park-sponsored events, Bear Creek Salmon Festival, 4th of July Run, Rogue Valley Bike Swap, Rogue World Music Festival. Those are going to be events that we are sponsoring. We are often putting a lot of staff time into. These are community events that take place in our parks, often run by staff, often run by our volunteers. And that's opposed to public events that might be happening in our parks that we're supporting. So the Monster Dash, which just happened, Southern Oregon Pride, another event in October, the Summer Sounds concert series, which was a really great success this year. Those are events that are utilizing our parks, taking place in our parks, require facilitation with staff to make sure that event organizers are following rules and have everything they need, and we can support them. Usually those are not events that we're supplying volunteers for or running, but those are taking place in our parks. And I am, as the event manager, I'm helping facilitate those events as well. And basically, to hold an event in parks, we have a process, a special event application that would come in, and then staff would work with you to make sure you had everything you need to pull off a successful event. And with that, I'm going to hand things over to our golf course manager, Mr. Brian Weaver, to discuss Oak Knoll Golf Course.
Thank you, Suleiman. Excuse me. As Suleiman mentioned, my name is Brian Weaver. I'm the new golf course manager at Oak Knoll Golf Course in Ashland. We're over on Highway 66. We've got about a 40-acre golf course with a nice driving range. As you can see by the pictures, some absolutely glorious views. And we've got a lot going on over at the golf course. So we're a lot more than just golf. We host everything from weddings and birthday parties to anniversaries and other special events. So don't think of Oak Knoll Golf Course as just a golf. Think of it as another park and another event venue where, if you want to host an event or something like that, by all means, get a hold of me over at Oak Knoll Golf Course and we can talk about putting together the details for your event. Oak Knoll Golf Course opened in 1927, so we're rapidly approaching our centennial 100-year anniversary, so very excited for that one. We will continue to host outdoor concerts, not just for the 100-year anniversary, but we do every summer. We'll be hosting outdoor concerts. We've had some local schools actually running some cross-country events over there. We had 2 this year that were about a couple of 100 kids each, running throughout the golf course with the golf course closed and et cetera. So very much reaching out to the community in all facets to make sure that, you know that we're there for your events and we're more than just the golf course. We've got some great fundraising events and charity events. In fact, we've got an upcoming event that will be benefiting the Ashland Emergency Food Bank too. So would love to have you swing by. That's a couple Saturdays away, 2 weeks from this Saturday, in fact. If you want to make a contribution or help out with the event, we'd love to talk to you about that as well. So we do have time to host occasional golf course events as well. So we host, like I said, we've got a 9-hole golf course. It's on about 40 acres, very active men's group, ladies groups. and some great teaching and instructional programs too that are very much geared toward beginner and women-friendly, junior-friendly golf events, camps, and clinics. So a lot of fun if you wanted to take up some golf or brush up and hone those skills of yours that you've been away from for a while. By all means, give us a call over at Oak Knoll Golf Course, and we can talk to you about putting together, getting you into a group with some fun casual events where you can learn some golf, meet some new people, make some new friends in the meantime. So a lot of good stuff going over there. We had over 21,000 visitors to the golf course last year between special events, golf course, and just days play. So there's a lot of action going on over at the golf course, but it's a very fun place to spend some time. So I hope to see you over at the golf course very, very soon. We are in the process of working to reopen the grill at Oak Knoll Golf Course as well. So keep your eye on the local media, etc., for more news on that one, but we're working on that one as we speak. It's a great place. We'll have some casual dining, some fabulous views with some indoor as well as outdoor seating. So keep that in mind too, and come over and join us on a beautiful day just like today. So again, in closing, just keep in mind, Oak Knoll Golf Course, more than just golf. Come see us, come say hi sometime very soon. Next up, I'd like you to join me in welcoming Bill Miller. Bill is our Western Parks Maintenance and Irrigation Manager. Thanks for your time, and I look forward to seeing you over at Oak Knoll Golf Course.
Gotcha. There you go. Jesus, camera, what's Rachel? What's going on? Anyway, I'm gonna adjust this a little bit. There we go. Well, that kind of worked. Hi, I'm Bill Miller. I am, like Brian said, I am Western Parks and Irrigation Supervisor. I'm starting my 26 years with Ashland Parks. Yeah, you can say I've seen it all. I've been involved in a lot of events and a lot of maintenance over the years. So you see the spreadsheet I have on the slide. I have go to the next slide. Thank you. I have I manage 6 full-time employees, and I'm grateful to say that out of those 6 employees, we have over 50 years of combined work in Ashland Parks alone. The 50 years. And Rocky, I like the little figurine because that's kind of like what we are. I look at them as superheroes. One of the things that we cover, myself manage, I manage a crew of 2 for irrigation maintenance throughout the parks and cities. We manage roughly 672 irrigation zones throughout the city. And that's just talking, that's one valve going to a zone. So there's 672 zones in 19 parks and over 20 city locations. Along with that, it's roughly about 8,000 irrigation sprinklers combined in those zones, and with a managing of 63 controllers throughout the city. And then we also, that irrigation team also manages 2 of our pump stations, one in Lithia Park and one at North Mountain Park for the summer irrigation. Our arborist is Pete Boffman, and he's been with us almost 10 years, and he is a busy person. He is constantly year-round assessing, removing, and going through parks and city properties, and he works closely with all city departments on any kind of tree issue we have in the city. With ops, we have I have 3 full-time employees that maintain Lithia Park and 5 other outer parks kind of on the west side of town. With the daily maintenance there, that's seeding, fertilizing, aerating, any other kind of maintenance that we do during the year round. Right now it's leaf season, but the big thing right now is we build the ice rink. So we are starting next week. We'll start putting the dashboards up. They're putting the roof up now, which is we contract that out, but they'll be done today. And so we start moving everything in today, and we'll start setting up on Tuesday. We should be making ice here in about a week, weather dependent. So That's one of their big roles in the winter. We work closely with recreation on the ice rink. We also work closely with recreation on the 4th of July festivities that are in the park. And we're also on the committee with the parade committee and work with closely with all the city departments on that too. I'm just, like I said, I'm very fortunate that I have a crew with that kind of experience, because it's great to be able to have the understanding, like working with Suleiman with the volunteer groups, which are so helpful as we roam around the city and take care of things. So that in a nutshell is kind of what we do every day. It's an everyday adventure. And like I said, Rocky, I'm fortunate to be working with a bunch of superheroes. And on that note, I'd like to introduce the other group of superheroes, Wes Casali and his crew.
Thank you, Bill. Thank you, everybody, for having me. My name is Wes Casale. I am the Facilities and Eastern Division Supervisor. I've been here since about 2011, and I manage an awesome team, like Bill said. I don't want to say my team's a little bit better. They're pretty good. So we have a group of 4 FTEs that do all of our facilities maintenance. And a lot of you wonder, how do all those restrooms get locked up and cleaned every day? We have interior buildings, we have exterior buildings, we have locks all over the place. We turn 84 locks daily to keep our facilities safe, and we clean them. And I apologize for this graphic. The 37,000, the 16,000 are swapped. But we clean roughly 82 toilets every single day. And so it's a 365, like it says, 24/7. All those things that happen behind the scenes. We have an amazing team that some of them come in very early in the morning in the dark before you're there, working with Suleiman on special events, closing roads, etc. And then we have a crew that comes in every single night, secures those facilities. They are cleaning so many restrooms, changing mud bits. They're also certified pool operators. We have multiple staff on. They're checking places like Hunter Park Pool, the water park we have at Garfield, reading those chemicals every 4 hours of operation to meet our requirements with the state health department. So many things going on. And that crew is just amazing. The amount of things they can tackle annually. You know, we clean 65 sinks every day, 22 urinals. So they're a very busy group. We're very proud of everything that they can accomplish. We've never done this before, but that whole team right now that came on are all new employees. We've been very impressed with how seamless that process has went, taking on all these special events. So we also have 3 FTEs in what we call the Eastern Division. So they take care of about 62 acres, about 13 areas that include some of the larger parks. Might be out in your neck of the woods like Garfield, Hunter, North Mountain, where we have about 9 acres of sports fields. So I work with Rachel Dials and her staff almost every day on field reservations, groups not limited to, tennis and soccer. We have about 460 kids just from the Ashland Soccer Club that use North Mountain Park twice a year, their spring and fall season. So we love having all these parks with adjacent property owners, working with everybody in the community. But like Bill said, we have seeding and fertilizing and pruning and all those type of things going on daily. We have our community gardens that we're cleaning all the bins out, working with all these volunteers. So very busy, robust system with a lot of things going on. So next time you turn on that water and it's functioning and everything's good, the things we take for granted, there's a lot of people behind the scenes making that all operate. So appreciate your time. And next I'd like to welcome Jason Minica, our Forestry, Trails, and Open Space Supervisor.
Hi, can everybody hear me okay? All right. Hi, so my name is Jason Minica. I've been working here with the Parks and Recreation for about 25 years now. I'm just right on Bill Miller's coattails. I've spent most of my career here doing forestry, trails, and open space. I have a degree in forestry with minor in fisheries and wildlife, so I'm right in my area of what I like to do. So with our department, we manage all our open spaces, trails, And then we also have a lot of forested lands that we co-manage with the fire department with Chris Chambers. He's kind of taken on the responsibility of more of the forestry aspect of it. With our help also on the ground, we have a couple of guys that will run out and we'll still do some thinning and burning and fuels reduction in coordination with the fire department. We also go out and do all of our open spaces, which is we have approximately 531 acres managed of open spaces and approximately 53 miles of trails. So we're running around all over the place in all these different areas, and we'll go through and on our weed abatement stuff and our open spaces, we'll go through and do all the mowing and weed eating to try to get that ready for our June 1st deadline for fire season. So it's a real critical job that we have to do every year, and we've probably seen a lot of you over the years where we come through and do our mowing and try to get the fields down to 4 inches or less before the June 1st deadline. We go through and we also do a lot of our hazard tree removals. We do a lot of dropping trees and removal of the hazard trees when, like during the Almeda fire, and a lot of the trees that got damaged in that area. We'll go down and we go through and do just a lot of that work in those fields and forestry and open spaces. We do a lot of work with our trails maintenance and trails design and trail building. We do that in coordination a lot with AWTA, the Ashland Woodlands and Trails Association, and also RVMBA, Rogue Valley Mountain Bikers Association. They help us a lot with a lot of our trails and trails coordinations, trail building, trail design. Also have on my crew, I have 2 FTEs for my forestry and trails and open space. One of them is Tech 2, and he's our Class A CDL / operator. He's the one that operates all of our big equipment and our 10-yard dump truck, and kind of helps Wes and Bill and Suleiman. We have kind of everybody around the city. We help the street department a lot with equipment operation and hauling debris and hauling asphalt for the street department occasionally when they need us to. The other guy I have on my FTE, he does a lot of our mutt mitts, which I don't know if y'all realize this, but I do all the ordering for our mutt mitts for our doggy bags that we have, and we order about 400,000 of those a year that the city goes through. And I have one guy that services all the ones on our end, and Wes and Bill both have guys that service the mutt mitts on their ends. But one guy just on my end, he spends about almost 2 days a week, every week, all year long, servicing those mutt mitts and trash cans that are there at the trailheads and all the other mutt mitts around town. We also work closely with a bunch of contractors as far as with our forestry and trails and stuff, and that's Abraham Contracting, Lomacotzi, Grayback, and Jackson County Community Services. Without crews like that, it would be really hard to get a lot of our work done, especially when we do go in and do some of our smaller forestry management practices. We also work with Suleiman a lot on his volunteer coordination stuff. He has a lot of volunteers that come out and help chip trails out in the woods and pull blackberries and Scotch broom, and so we all work together and get a lot of stuff done, and it's really appreciated. The other division that I manage is what we call the Boulevards division, and it's basically all the medians throughout town, downtown Siskiyou Boulevard, Tolman Creek, and North Mountain. We have 1 FTE on there now. Hopefully we're going to get another one, maybe 2 more down the road. But we also manage all the city landscapes around the buildings of the city, parking lot landscapes, and also the airport. So these guys go around and try to keep all the landscapes and all these spaces clean, keep everything pruned up and mowed and weed eated, and hedge trimmed for all the bushes that you see when you go downtown. You see all the roses and stuff and the lawns. We do that in coordination with Bill Miller and his irrigation team. So we also do all of our construction here at the parks. Typically, we're the crew that gets called in to do any kind of building or project management type stuff, and just any kind of construction with equipment operating and stuff like that. So we're all over the place all the time. So, but with that being said, I will pass you on to Natalie Metler, the Senior Services Superintendent.
Thank you very much, Jason, and thank you, everyone. I'm so pleased to be here today. So my name is Natalie Metler, and I am the Senior Services Superintendent for Ashland Parks and Recreation. We offer programs and services for adults age 50 and above here in Ashland, and we do have participants that come from beyond Ashland as well. Most of those programs and services are available at the Ashland Senior Center, which is right next to Hunter Park and the Daniel Meyer swimming pool. But we do have some programs that we run at other locations, such as the Grove, or a walking group that rotates among different parks in our system. So I started actually as a Parks and Rec volunteer at the Senior Center in 2017 because I wanted to shift to working with seniors. I had come from a background in academia, but I really felt drawn to community service. So, and had a particular fondness for older adults, and I have stuck around. So when a position was open for the coordinator role in 2018, I applied for that and came on staff that way, and then stepped into the superintendent role at the beginning of this year when the former superintendent Eileen Glatt retired, and she really helped build the program to what it is today. So I'm privileged to work with some amazing colleagues and volunteers at the Senior Center. The photo here, Cheryl in the middle is our temporary office assistant, and Cheryl DeSaram, and Shannon Holt is our senior services coordinator. So Cheryl is kind of our frontline person. She's the face you'll see if you drop by or call us. She's the first person you'll probably talk to. And she helps keep our office running smoothly. And Shannon manages and coordinates all of our programs for seniors. So we offer programs every day that we're open, which is Monday through Friday, 8:30 a.m. to 3:30 p.m. And as superintendent, I oversee operations for the division. And part of that role is to represent the Senior Services Division at the Rogue Valley Council of Governments, Senior Advisory Council, and other relevant organizations as appropriate. And to that end, I am the current chair of the Senior Advisory Council, as well as a member of the Ashland Community Food Bank Board, the Rogue Valley Broadband Access Team, and the Rogue Valley Transportation District State Transportation Improvement Fund Advisory Committee. Quite a mouthful. But that is because nutrition, digital literacy, and transportation are some of the key needs that we address on an almost daily basis when serving older adults. And so serving on those bodies allows us to have a voice for Ashland seniors and to know what might be coming down from the national, state, or regional level affecting seniors. So, Rocky, if you could go to the next slide, please. The Senior Services Division was established in 2018. There had been a smaller senior program for many years that was restructured into a larger Senior Services Division to better serve Ashland's growing senior population. So a quarter of Ashland's population is over the age of 65. And almost half of Ashland's population is 50 or older, and our programs are available for folks age 50 and above. We do have a mission statement and goals that were created when the division was established in 2018. And so our mission is to enhance the lives of seniors by promoting healthy aging, well-being, dignity, and independence. And we empower local adults as valued contributing members of the community and together advocate for the diverse needs of seniors and their families throughout Ashland. There are 7 goals that were set in the process that established the division, and we are overseen by the Ashland Senior Advisory Committee. That is a committee of the Ashland Parks and Rec Commission and reports back to that commission. Those are public meetings. If you're ever interested in participating, they are on the second Monday of every odd numbered month, in person here at the Senior Center, 3:30 to 5 p.m. So come on by. If you have questions, just call our office or drop in. I did want to talk a little bit about our goals. So that first is to build partnerships with local and regional organizations that serve seniors to foster collaboration and create a stronger safety net to increase resources and fill gaps. So much like what Rachel was saying about the recreation division, that building those partnerships really allows us to pool our collective resources and serve our community more effectively. We are also tasked with identifying and reaching frail or vulnerable seniors who may be isolated and to connect them to services that can help them maintain their independence and well-being. We want to raise community awareness of senior needs, available resources, and special Ashland Senior Service Division initiatives. We don't currently have any, but we have had some in the past. We advocate for senior needs and provide input to the City of Ashland and other entities regarding policies that affect seniors. We have been over the past few years really working to expand programs and services at the Ashland Senior Center and beyond. So that is providing recreation, education, health promotion programs to raise awareness of and diversify programs to serve a wider range of senior ages and needs. Currently, we have participants from their 50s to over 100. And so the services that we provide older adults and their families are information and referrals to social services, benefits, and supportive programs. And finally, evaluate and maintain and improve the facilities to ensure, specifically the Ashland Senior Center, ensures sufficient, safe, and accessible venues for programs and activities. So I really want to point out here that we collaborate closely, I think across the agency, all these different parts. We couldn't do what we do at the Ashland Senior Center without the support of primarily the Eastern team that maintains our facility, maintains the park next to us. Couldn't do it without the volunteers that Suleiman helps us find. And I should have mentioned that we have a lot of volunteers working here across what we do. So they help us in our office, they teach our classes, they do one-on-one tutoring for things like computer literacy, and sorry, organizing my notes. And they help in our events. So we're very grateful to them. And again, the rec division. So since we're both providing recreational programming, we coordinate with them a lot. Okay, and then the last slide here. Thank you, Rocky. So our programs and services include information and referral and what we call resource consultations, which is kind of more in-depth information and referral. People come with all kinds of questions and needs, from housing to caregiving to getting your lawn mowed or finding a hairdresser. And that can be older adults themselves or their family members, concerned neighbors, business owners. We really want to all collaborate as a community to prevent anyone from falling through the cracks. We offer seminars and workshop on topics of interest to seniors, recreation and social activities to foster community and social connection, special events. So keep an eye out for that because we'll have some fun stuff for the holidays, for Thanksgiving, around Christmas time. We do have a monthly newsletter. So if you're interested in receiving that by mail or by email, you can fill out a form on the website, or you can call our office or stop on by. Through partners and volunteers, we offer assistance with advanced directives, digital literacy. We have prepaid bus passes for Ashland and Talent residents for the fixed route RVTD bus or the Valley Lift paratransit system. We partner with the Ashland Community Food Bank to have a mini pantry here on site named in honor of a late volunteer, Mike Hirsch, a free lending library, dementia caregiver support group, and we work with the utility department to offer some customer service primarily to older adults for their utility assistance program. Our participation statistics have fully rebounded from the pandemic when we were closed to the public for 2 years, but still offering virtual programs and remote connections to services. This past fiscal year, which ended in June, saw the highest ever engagement with the community, averaging about 1,400 visits a month. So that's people that come for information, people who participate in classes, and people who do our drop-in activities like cribbage and mahjong and discussion group. So it keeps going up, but we always have, we want to meet you. So if you have any interest or have anyone in your life that you feel might benefit from engaging with us, please just stop on by. We're friendly and welcoming. So that is it for me. Thank you.
Thank you, Natalie. Well, I think we've left almost the right amount of time for questions, and